Hey guys, Dodger Dave. This is going to be a real short GoFundMe video. It happens to be a bit of an urgent matter, and I'm going to take it inside the car. Just wanted to show a couple of things here. Some of the resources, some of the books I draw from, that I keep with me, living in the car. Just wanted to see how shiny my head was. I had a $1.55 in the bank on the positive side. The negative side, over 500 negative. But I was able to buy these beans and spice them up a little with the corn chips I had from yesterday. So if those of you who worry about me, I'm still alive and I ate today. But things are really tight because of what FTB did to me through Postmates, and Postmates has just not responded when FTB has gone ahead and said, stop withholding money for us. We don't want this guy's money. We really didn't deserve any of it. He didn't know us anything. They probably didn't bother to tell the Postmates that they stole a lot of money from me, but that's really not their business. So they cut off my cash flow from my normal source of income. So I'm up in the north of the Midwest, doing some of the political signatures work for ballot initiatives, etc., to try to help bring representation to the people, get some grassroots things done normally, and in this case empower some degree of representative government when the governor has basically stolen the legislative branch's duties, usurped them, and let me use Democrat language. They're not being inclusive. They're not being inclusive of the people that were elected to represent people, at least sort of. And so small businesses aren't getting represented properly, and so yeah, they're non-essential. Just the big corporations, they're essential. The ones that the government invests in through their, through the privately owned cities, states, counties, etc. All these municipal corporations that cross-invest throughout the nation and the world. Their companies are essential, but the mom and pop ones are not. And so during the Corona thing, small businesses are being destroyed. It's just a coincidence, though, as David Icke would say. Nothing to worry about. Should we take it in the car here? Okay, so we're in the car. So I just want to be very brief, if I can. I mean, a lot of my videos go really long, but this is mostly just this is a GoFundMe video. I'm in dire straits. I've brought to the table here the most extensive video-based expose on Mormonism in the world, as far as I know. Put out my 500th video on the Dodger Dave channel the other day. That was the video that that I was announced, hey, I need people to kind of do something with the GoFundMe a little bit. Always throw it in the links in the videos. And so since my cash flow has been cut off by the circumstances I just related, in order for me to continue to do videos, I've got to be able to pay the bills, people. And $175 in like 38 weeks of GoFundMe, it's a little less than John DeLynn paying himself like $6 grand a month out of whatever people donate to Mormon Stories, which doesn't have nearly as complete information as I give on the Mormon Church. So anyway, Mormon Truth Videos Gospel Topics Hub, that does not cost me anything on as far as hosting goes. I put that up in case anything happened to me. I wanted that to remain. So the website here seems to be frozen for the second. Let's bring it back, see what happens. Well, let's just reopen it. There's the GoFundMe link. There's Mormon Truth Videos Gospel Topics Hub homepage. Let's go to Restoring a Stairway to Heaven page. And so there's links in the description for various pages on the website which have the narrative, written narrative, and then videos applicable to the subject. We've got stuff from the restoration of the gospel, to the first vision, to race and priesthood, other gospel topics essays on LDS.org, subject after subject, basically showing how the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints has altered, rewritten fraudulently its history, and used a lot of mind control, and that's documented to keep the members believing that they must continue to pay, pray, and obey in order to basically allow them the privilege of acting as saviors on Mount Zion and buying their loved ones out of purgatory, as it will. It's the same thing as selling indulgences was for the Roman Catholic Church, except for it's linked to going to the temple and being able to continue performing baptisms for the dead, marriages for, sealings for the dead, all that sort of a thing. It was a rather brilliant scam, and it created an automatically recurring stream of income for Joseph Smith and his successors in the sale of indulgences, essentially, by doing that. So, as some of you know, I was an employee of the LDS Church, which allowed me basically the opportunity just to program myself, educate myself in Mormonism during work, because I clipped a cassette tape onto my belt and used an earphone, and used everything in the library from the church that was available where I was working, to listen constantly to the teachings, the doctrines, the scriptures, the general conference talks, the BYU devotional addresses, and other special firesides, etc. on tape. I was also running a bookstore for the LDS Church, so I accumulated a bit of a personal library there, since I was able to purchase books at wholesale cost, plus order anything that I wanted, and if I wanted to buy it, then I did. If I didn't, I didn't. And I kind of was the self-directed scholar in the LDS, in the Mormon religion, the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints specifically. I acquired the Joseph Smith translation of the Bible early on, and I have one of the big fancy ones now, actually, because my mom had it. She gave it to me. The one I purchased was a little less fancy, from the Reorganized Church in the 1980s. And so I decided to make the most extensive video library, basically, on what Mormonism really is, documenting the fraud page after page, mostly from the church's own website, LDS.org, or now it's called the churchofjesuschrist.org, although you can get to it either way. So in other words, using church-friendly or originated materials in the first place as primary sources of a lot of the information I use to show that we cannot reconcile the assertion that an all-knowing, unchanging, just, loving, perfect God guides the LDS Church by inspiring and directing righteous, honest men. That just isn't the case, and I've done about as much as I can do up to this point to help people to be able to acquire that knowledge as efficiently as possible and as effortlessly as possible, so you don't have to do a ton of reading. If you use this website, there is some reading. You don't have to do any of the reading, but there are videos where you can just click and do whatever else it is you needed to do. It's nice to be able to watch. Some of them have a lot of information faded in visually. Others are more podcast style. So if y'all let me die out here, this website will still be up, but I won't be able to put up more videos, and I do that on a regular basis, refuting apologetic deception from sites like Three Mormons, or whatever they're called now, Saints Unscripted, which sounds like a complete falsehood in and of itself, because I know they're scripted, or they appear to me to be quite scripted most of the time. Not everything they do is scripted when they're interacting together, so forth, probably. Unless they're like the news channels that are just faking it and they're actually scripted. So I'm one of the very few, I'm one of very few people that tells the larger story that the LDS Church is not autonomous, but it is part of a much larger, it's a cog in a larger wheel of human control manipulation, and I show how that takes place. They don't like that. That's why YouTube shadow bans me. There's a tremendous amount of LDS money invested in Google. Oh, that wouldn't influence anything. Anyway, trying to keep this short. I don't have that huge extensive library anymore. My Mormon lawyer son has probably got most of it, unfortunately. The one who tried to silence me, having my brain shocked 8 times, incarcerated for 99 days, when he convinced cops and people at the state nut house that 5115 me would be okay. And based on, no, you can't just do that if someone has suicidal thoughts. You have to show that they have a plan of action, okay, to harm oneself or harm others. You know, that's basically the criteria for holding someone on a 5150, especially post-evaluation and so forth. So, yeah. He convinced him to shock me 8 times. He was trying to erase everything, or my ability. They actually told me, the director there told me that it was his intention to try to put me away for life, because he didn't want me to drag people down to hell, essentially, in Mormon belief. In other words, pull people out of the LDS Church with exposing them to truth, the fact that their leaders have lied to them continuously from the very beginning. From the time of the, introducing and post-dating, basically, whatever. The first vision that people are told about, that Joseph Smith never told anybody about until like 1838, right? And he wrote something in 1832 that doesn't at all coincide with the version that we are given in the church, and continuously we've just had nothing but fraud over and over. And yeah, this video is about long enough for its intended purpose. Let's see if I can show another page or so. There is a menu like on the top left here, right, for various other pages. So between that, the evolving theology of the eternal gods, and underneath that it's got its own, there are sub pages or pages underneath pages, by their works you shall know them, examining LDS scripture, and under that we've got women in the LDS Church, we've got the Book of Mormon, the Book of Abraham, evolution of Mormon astro-theology, the Luciferian Endowment, and did 1978 priesthood revelation end an era of Mormon racism? So I've got page after page here: occult mind control, secret combinations in the LDS scripture and modern urban legend, status of the Illuminati and Danites through MK Ultra techniques. The pedophile network that the LDS Church and the JWs and the RCC belong to. All kinds of stuff here. Lots and lots of documentation. Bringing in other people's videos were necessary, and exposing people in the network in all sorts of venues: political, business, banking, which is business, and religion. Okay. So the Dodger Dave channel and the Mormon Truth Videos channel, a separate channel which has got, like 83 videos on it. Dodger Dave's now got 500. This will be, I guess, 501, plus go up probably on Facebook, Instagram, and of course on my GoFundMe page, which I'm soliciting heavily now, people, because, yeah, I'm like 19 days late on my car payment, 500 below zero in the bank, 985 below zero in my Postmates account, which isn't money I ever got. They just are still following what FTB told them to do before FTB told them not to do it a month ago. Actually, they didn't even tell them to do that. They said just they wanted them to steal some money from me until I showed them that, no, they've been stealing from me and I haven't. You know, it's the opposite. So, yeah, the inability to cash flow in this situation very easily has been, well, it's put my progress in trying to reestablish my credit and get back into my children's lives, whom I've come to the Midwest to try to do that, everything in jeopardy. So here I am vagabonding on the road. I've been vagabonding for a while, trying to accomplish all these goals and bring the truth to the world about the church so that LDS children will stop committing suicide in Utah and throughout the world. So the Dodger Dave channel, here we go. There's the last one I add up for Dodger, my 500th video. And I guess I would just have to go into the channel there because it doesn't look like I'm in the channel. It's just what comes up. So I hit the channel, go into the Dodger Dave channel, uploads, and there you got 500 videos showing you what Mormonism is actually about. Also, we can go into the other software real quick here, because I did the other day on the longer video I didn't show. Okay, so here, and if I go into most popular, you can see that most viewed. So most views I got on any of the videos, like 9,000, and there's 8,700. You know, on these various videos, you can see what some of them are. When we organize by popularity, CES letter, going over that, called mind control. Basically how we're ruled through corporate governance. All kinds of stuff on every aspect of Mormonism and how it fits into the network, the pedophile network, etc., etc. That's my number 7 most popular right now, I believe. Right here, this one, LDS JW pedophilia, Satanism, SRA, and human sacrifice, and Latter-day Satanism. That's 3 hours long. It's been the most popular video for the last year. It's got like 47,000 minutes on it, I think. And if we go and look at overall, I've got 2 million minutes viewed. And considering I'm being heavily shadow banned, that's, you know, people have taken 2 million minutes to watch videos that are educating them as to what Mormonism actually is. And okay, here's the top videos. Let's go to the overall stats here. Real-time views, watch time. So if we go to watch time, and then, so what do we got here? 23 minutes, 23,000 minutes in the last 28 days. And so if we bump this over to lifetime, it's going to be a couple million, 2,285,704 minutes of view time, educating people, and hopefully therefore saving lives. So help me keep doing it, people, and don't let me die out here in the Midwest. Thanks. Help me get back with my kids. I need a little boost right now, and I do a lot of work for it, for y'all. All right. And here's all the evidence that blue, purple, and indigo seem to dominate what I purchase, except for the black beans. Okay, I'm out. Thanks, guys. The links. GoFundMe.